Hola, YouTube. So for those of you who don't know, American Hooker, me llamo me. My name's Eric, E-R-I-K. B-R-A-D-F-O-R-D is my middle name, and Hastings is my last name. So I'm showing my California ID. The picture's a little old. By the way, if those remember, I nicknamed things. So I named Dorit Counsley was the inspirational name of my backpack. So this is original Dorit. Where's my Puma backpack? It's in here. Oh, oh. I'm going to send this to Dorit. So I would like Dorit Counsley. I don't know. You don't really have an office. If someone could reach out for Jagger. It would be good. I think it's good. It has great pockets in here for like school stuff and yeah. So I used to have the nasty pick the fisting pin on here from 412 and they should I used to have a hanky in one of these. Anyway, so this was Dorit original. Dorit It's special. This is the backpack I had on my back on Boxing Day, December 26, 2023. When Dorit and I left the backpack, we threw away a shit ton of heroin that had been stolen from my family by the LAPD because they were trying to Jeremy Joseph wanted to recreate that book. LA Confident, remember they still make you seize heroin? Well, like I said, when Mickey C got to prison, he killed everybody. Anyway, so that's special. And so I carried that back for a while. Then I had Dorit 2.0. I donated that shortly before I went to Shiva. I gave Dorit 3.0 to Claudia to kiss somebody because they have a program at Sharp. So maybe somebody's going to school, maybe someone just wants a backpack. And face it, in the modern era, it's very hard for anyone to go around without a bag. Because you have your cell phone, you have your car keys if you have a car, you have your cell phone charger, a wallet. If you're like me and wear contacts, you have to have your contacts and contacts or something. You gotta have your glasses in case something happens. Ladies maybe have a makeup bag. For me, I have my sunscreen. Then you got kids, whatever. So yeah, so this is Dorit's one Dodger Blue. Dorit 4.0. Edit. So reach out to me somehow, Dorit, and I'll get the bag to you. Anyway, so the last YouTube's post I had were me with the scars on my arm, and I will bear these scars for the rest of my life. Thank you, Charles Puth et al. They're from cutting. I'm an emotional cutter. No, I don't do it very often. It's just Charles Puth and Gretchen Puth and John Puth, who are completely psychotic. Remember, John Puth is a convicted stalker. He stabbed Teresa Saldana, who's he's psychotic. Now, his real name is John Puth. He used an alias. He cannot stay away from my family. He was obsessed. He cannot stay away from brown people. And of course, I'm not brown. I married a brown man. Joaquin Guzman, the grandson of El Chapo. My first husband. Did anybody know now? Okay, so, yeah. So, that being said, I've been his target because he also has a dear, sweet, lovely lady named Bonnie Carter, who's also psychotic. And so when Bonnie came to Westmoreland County in 1993, my middle school principal is so homophobic that all he wants to do is go face down, ass up, and have his hairy, fucking nasty asshole, which you know is clean, plowed by a big black man. You're such a fucking fag for BBC's Red Lace Shot. Anyway, he was a convicted sex offender in Covina, came to Westmoreland County, because they'll hire anybody at Hempfield Township. No, you don't need a degree. You can rape kids, whatever. You can work for Hempfield School District, which is gets money from the Department of Education from Pennsylvania, and then in turn from the taxpayers. So, kitty rapers are us, is what Greensburg, Pennsylvania should be known as. Anyway, so I moved out in July 1999. I was 18. So I'm good. Anyway, so when Bonnie showed up, it became worse, and so I cut myself. And then I went years. I'll give you, let's see on YouTube the stalking timeline. So, Bonnie showed up and was stalking me as a child. She'd break into my home. She'd follow me to school. My mother didn't speak her very often, but apparently she'd miss work for long periods of time. So I don't know if she was absent from St. Florian Elementary School because she was in prison or she was off doing something else. Remember, she's psychotic. So, we just don't know. And she was just a coworker, and my mother treated her like that. Anyway, so, yes, so July 19, I moved away. So, 1999, after Bonnie went to federal prison for killing I think it was a Delta, pilot. I don't know, they didn't say much when they revoked their flight. They tried to play off a thunderstorm, but there was no thunderstorm. Anyway, so from July 1999 to 2006, so for 7 years, basically, no Bonnie. It was awesome. Although Grady Sizemore was stalking me, but more in the shadows. Then, Bonnie showed up in March 2006. John Hines IV, Dirty John. He likes to tie it off and just pop a vein, just like his mama taught him. Or did Henry Hines teach you how to shoot up? I don't know, baby. I'm not in your family. Anyway, so he shows up March 2006 very briefly. He got arrested. So 2006 with this cult that thinks they can convert hetero. You're in that cult, Cornelius Ross, but weren't you supposed to be working for the federal government at that point? And you were also supposed to be in jail with Starlight Ministries for kidnapping homeless people in LA. Nigga, what's going on? Can we talk? Melissa Rivers, pull up a chair bit. That was actually Wendy Williams. And that's how you do it. Coming to the coffee talk. So moving on. So yeah. So now 2006 they were arrested. So from 2006 to 2011, another 5-year period. No Bonnie, no psychotic. Although Grady Sizemore was stalking me, but he was more, I would say, intel gathering. Like he wasn't in my face threatening my life the way this is, but he was getting information and like spying on me and to cause of shit. Nobody would think, hey, come on. Fuck you, Joyce Goldman. Fuck you, Eric Goldman. Fuck you, Charles Goldman. Fuck you, Gary Reich. Fuck you, Lee Reich. Fuck you, Lucy Reich. And most of all, fuck you, Kitty Raper, Lou Reich. We know all about you and Covina. By the way, what part of Walnut, California is Walnut Creek? Because I know Walnut Creek is up north. It's very ritzy. Remember Bhamini Ramaswamy? Her sister lived up there. So that's a very shishi area. I've been to Walnut. I lived in Covina briefly. I saw Miranda's little gym. And also, your bitch gave birth at a 6-year-old gymnastics event. And she wasn't 6. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, they saw pussy. And Lucy Hernandez, what's her name? Susie Hernandez. You just walked around like it was normal. Like, I get it. It's not because Miranda is schizophrenic and autistic. Probably an incest baby. As a parent, I can imagine you send your 6, and there's gymnastics programs for adults. There's gymnastics programs for special needs. It's not that. But I can imagine as a parent of a 6-year-old, like your walk, it's not normal to see a woman give birth pretending to be a 6-year-old. It's fucked in the Meshuggah. It's crazy. Sorry. Fuck you, Ed Feinstein and Valley Beshalom. So, moving on. Anyway, so, now we've got 2011. Bonnie showed up the day of my final at Santa Monica College for math, which I failed. But had nothing to do with her. Anyway, so from December 2011 to February 2013, remember, I was married this time. My second husband had died on August 1st, 2012. That's when Bonnie showed up again. Now, the weird thing is, she kept saying, I think they think I was adopted. It's like, we're never going to let you reconcile with your biological family. And I'm like, but I hate my biological family, so I don't give a shit, niggers. So I don't know that whole thing. But anyway, so since 2013, when John Kerry needed his confirmation for Secretary of State, fuck you, John Kerry, you busted up, dickless nigga. I loved it. Well, hopefully you... Facebook lets me say anything. So anyway, eat me. By the way, bitch, your brother's in so much trouble. And then, bitch, what the fuck, nigga? I saw you in the Carson Starbucks on your phone. Why do you go like this? And like, smile. Like, what is wrong with you? You're not white, okay? You're not a pretty little white girl. You look at busted up nigga. You know, this old horse face. You're kind of like semi-Persian looking. Like, you look like your dad rode you hard and put you up wet on your first birthday. So, I guess that's all you tell the Hollies are good for. I don't know, bitch. I don't know. I have no idea. But, like, and Claudia, my therapist, will tell you. And anybody who's met me. Bitch, I pop off left and right. I mean, like, where the fuck is the goddamn coffee creamer in Starbucks? Maybe not that bad, but, I pop off a lot. And I've got, that's why I'm the match. From 0 to DEFCON 4. But if somebody said to me what I was saying to you, I would pop off. And you're just... What the fuck is that, bitch? Do you have cum on your teeth trying to make them pearly white? I don't know. You were the biggest fucked up bitch I've ever met in your life. Eat me. Look, bitch, you're not related. Okay, nigga, no. Here's how it goes. By the way, you named your child Joaquin, and only legitimate males may have that name. You fucked up, nigga. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anyway, look. So, Rick Smargone fucked your pussy. Rick Smargone has fucked pussy behind his wife's back, my second mother-in-law, Carol. Since the moment he said, I do. Lonely boy has to prove to the world he's got a big dick like the Chuck Basses. For those of you who don't get the reference, my mother-in-law was friends with Cicely, whatever her name is. I'm going to say Cicely, whatever. The writer of Gossip Girl. They were childhood friends. And Carol, my sweet little mother-in-law, Carol, if you saw her today, She was the inspiration for Serena Vanderwood's. So, nigga, yeah. I mean, like, I didn't know this for the longest time. Like, my sweet little Carol, mother-in-law. Nigga, what? Anyway, so, sex, drugs, and rock. My Carol got kicked out of her house as a teenager. She got knocked up. And so, her life completely changed. The moment she conceived Adam, she was like, I can't, and she was used to having a very spoiled life, like daddy's credit cards and, snorting cocaine and sneaking into nightclubs and just doing whatever she wanted. Because who cared? Her parents did not really discipline her. She grew up in a very nice townhome in New York. But they didn't care. And then she got pregnant and she had to get a job. And everything became about Adam. Huh. By the way, those on YouTube, meet Little G. This is my husband's teddy bear. It's now mine. He was stolen from a house in 2011. And in the 14-year journey, he was gone. This bitch has been around the world. So his name is Little G for Little Gangsta. I'm his nanny. He has 2 moms. He's not a Berenstein bear. He's not Jewish. He's actually an American brown bear. And his name is, I didn't actually give him a first name, but Sanchez Washington. Not George Washington. Shy Washington or Kerry Washington. So Shy Washington reporting for duty. Sanchez. So he has a Latina mom and a black mom. They're both USMC retirees. Like they did the 20 years, 25 years. So the mom works for, one mom is she works for a military contract. The other mom is a community organizer. So I'm the nanny, unpaid because I don't do a day of work. Like yesterday, I was supposed to take Little G to the library. I didn't quite make it. So we watched The Hunting Wives, which I've seen before. Love the book. Bought it last year. I still have yet to finish it. By the way, I talk very, very fast. I'm naturally a hyper person. I'm unmedicated right now on my ADD meds. I'll get to that in a minute. So Meg Cobb, I love your book. Pam, please get in touch with me. Bring Meg. I'm gonna smoke you out, Pam, like you've never had weed in your life. You're gonna get the best month. Catherine, Miss Kitty is gonna get you kush that's gonna blow your mind. Please come back to California. And this is the best thing. No Teresa Hart this time. Bitch, I'll find a place that can't stay with me, unfortunately. You'd love this house. We can smoke weed. But unfortunately, it's not a sober living per se. It is a room for rent situation. So for you, remember the old video on YouTube where I was like, basically about to kill myself? This is a very nice room. I love this painting. It always reminds me to read a book, which I've yet to do. I've lived for almost a month, but my ADs are bad. So I've got this little, this is my dresser. So as you can see, I've got, and the cow is from Ayanaka, which are Ramaswamy. That was his childhood toy, so it's really old, like it's from the 30s. It was stolen from Sanjay, her Bhamini's brother. They're close friends of my family. Like my family, not like my India family. It was stolen. I believe their daughter goes to Cal State US. Cal State LA. So it was stolen from either her daughter or sons. And I found on the sidewalk one day, I didn't know what it was, but so that's why it's facing east. Because it is, sacred. So, and then I've got my Santa Muerte candle and my community organizer hats, which I did thin out to just the Pro Bass and LA. For various reasons. So yeah. But, yeah. So anyway. And my Hells Angel hat. That's who don't know. This hat is only worn by the head of the Hells Angel. The vice president has the skull, I think without the swords. Anyway, how did I get it? They didn't want to tell me when I wandered into the location where it being sold, so they just let me buy it. But it's okay. Like they don't usually they'll tell you they can't buy it, but they just kind of like, oh no, it's cool. So anyway, but this is a great room. For those of you, American Hooker is my brand. I'm hoping to brand myself as the American Hooker. Now, not as an actual hooker, although I wouldn't mind being a whore and doing sex work. I don't care. Price is right, baby, and the man is hot. Or reasonably attractive. You don't have to be super hot. We'll negotiate with the price. Just put a hood on me so I can't see. Close my eyes and fantasize. Yeah, so I'm naturally hyper, but what happened is I was going to give an HIV care at AHF West Side. And this little bitch, Ben, decided that he was going to violate HIPAA and my privacy rights and speak about my personal medical care at AHF behind my back to Grady Sizemore. Fuck you, nigger. And fuck you. And also to other people and social media websites I found out and fired AHF. The problem was, Remember, I went to Hate Teshuva, the Nazi death camp known as Beit Teshuva, for what I thought, like, everyone was convinced that, like, you have a drug and alcohol, you have a drug problem. And to be honest, I don't. I'm not an addict. But post-Serenegate, as this was happening, as I like to call it, I did drink excessively. I'll tell myself. I was hitting the bar almost every day. Having, no, I wasn't drinking, like, till blackout drunk, but I would sit there and I just, like, I guess, like, people were looking at me, and I, like, didn't know why, and I didn't realize it was such a public thing on social media. So I got, like, kind of uncomfortable, and I would have, like, 4 or 5 margaritas, or, like, like 4 or 5 glasses of wine, and I'd get a little tipsy, but, like, not crazy. But yeah, so, just water, girls. Anyway, so, but yeah. So, and then I started hitting the pipe when John Puth showed up with his little hate cult, Linda Howard et al., and these fucking freaks, DeSantis freaks that believe in converting gays to straight people. Nigga, that's not possible. Converting, so it's just a hate cult. And so I was stalked by him. And John Puth, as you know, anybody who's been stalked, he cannot control himself. And he's schizophrenic. And he can't sleep. So it's 24 hours a day, non-stop harassment. And he'll start going after everybody. Like, you could look at somebody on the street and smile at them. I met 2 people today. Oh, besides, I went to the food bank today. And so they're very nice. I'm having some food, like, money issues. And so, anyway, so I got, like, a little bag of food. I met a nice woman named Destiny, who's telling me at the bus, because I was, like, waiting the wrong part. I was waiting at the drop-off. And she's like, oh, wait, there are 2 buses. And she's like, depending on where you live, like, if you take the Avalon station, you don't want to do that. She's like, you want to go to the university, which is Cal State Dominguez House, which I'm, like, 2 stops away from Cal State Dominguez House. So I'm like, oh, thank you so much. What is your name? And anyway, so she's probably been harassed. Lovely woman. Then I met a guy. His name is Miguel. And so he was like, oh, my thing. He's like, are these bandanas? And they are and they aren't. They are bandanas. But I was like, they are, but I was like, it's called the Leatherman Code. It's a gay thing or S&M thing. And I was like, so they are bandanas, but for me, they're sex hankies. And that's kind of all we left. He was a really nice guy. And so he asked me if I knew a good resource for him because I didn't want to go to Exodus and wait all day. And the only thing they prescribe, I believe, at Exodus is Seroquel and Visceral. So you'll be sleepy and not itchy. Visceral is an antihistamine. It does nothing but stop you from itching. So if you get a spider bite, it's great. If you have anxiety, I'd smoke some Kush. Because remember, benzos are not good for long-term anxiety. For those of you who've taken them, they're highly addictive. So if you have generalized anxiety disorder, some antidepressants can work. I'm not a doctor, but I do know a lot. But for me, I have bipolar, so I can't take SSRIs. It will kick me into manic. So, or hypomanic. I don't reach full mania. So anyway, I went to HSU. That had to go off my Adderall. But then I found out Ben was doing all this shit. So I switched providers. The problem is Josiah Strauser at AHF was my Adderall doctor. I mean, like, he wrote the prescription in addition to my HIV meds. So I have HIV care now, but now I got to start the Adderall process all over again. So, I'm a little hyper. I've also had, like, 4 cups of coffee. But I'm naturally that person. I'm like, I'm just a little too much. They say I'm too intense. And they won't even let me demonstrate margarine in the grocery store. For those of you who recognize Isn't She Great? The line, Jacqueline Suzanne. Bette Midler movie, Isn't She Great? With Nathan Lane. But here's the, it's called Lovely Me, The Life of Jacqueline Suzanne by Barbara Seaman. It's a great, S-E-A-M-N. It's, I guess, Seaman. Seaman. I guess you pronounce Seaman. It's a great book. I bought this on eBay. I've read it before. She was a childhood hero of mine. Probably the inspiration for making me want to be a writer. And I used to say, like Jacqueline Suzanne, always wanted to write a book. She always wanted to be, like, famous. Not that I want to be famous, but I want to be a writer. So 44. So I'm 45 now. So she's like, at 44, she was first published with Valley of the Dolls. But so I was like, well, I'll give myself to 44 to, like, publish. Well, bitch, I'm not 45. I'll be 46 on August 18th. So I was born in 1980, Amy, not 1978, nigger. I don't care what you heard, you busted up bitch. I know when I was born, my mother had me removed from her uterus by C-section in the hospital. Diane, bitch. I don't got the time for your busted up niggas. So, kiss my ass, bitch. So, yeah. So I don't have my Adderall, so I'm like a little. And so that's the guy's like, "Wow, you're like really hyper." And I'm like, I'm unmedicated." And he's like, "What do you mean I'm medicated?" I'm like, "Well, I'm ADD, adult attention deficit disorder, and so I don't have my Adderall." And so that's how we got talking. So for those of you out there, I do not recommend Exodus. I don't recommend going to all of you mental health emergency unless it's like a psychiatric emergency. Like, the reason being is they just don't listen to you. So if you're in the Los Angeles area in LA County, and you're on, but obviously if a private doctor who gives a shit, you just call your doctor Feelgood and get whatever pills you want. But if you're like me on any sort of fixed income, it's St. John's Community Care Clinic. St. John's. They're all over LA. They have a behavioral health division. And they're very good. Also, for those of you who may have out of pocket, you may have been on a fixed income, but you may have some money. My budget's very tight. Brain Health USA is an organization that does telehealth specifically geared towards adults with ADD, ADHD. The difference is the H is for hyper, so people move around a lot. I move around a lot when I talk, but like I can actually sit still. But yeah. So it's like so I don't have. I'm not getting Adderall, so that's the problem. But so I just wanted to update everybody. I'm writing again. Like I was suicidal. The last couple weeks, I was cutting myself, and what happened was, I was being abused by Charles Puth. He was getting access to my house. He was coming in, and it was just so intense, and I couldn't take it anymore. And my things were being stolen. Like I was in fear constantly. And so I was on a conference call with Claudia from Sharp, Southern California Area Rehabilitation Program. That's also a good resource. They can kind of work in tandem. The only problem with that is county doctors are very hesitant to write any sort of benzo. And I'm not encouraging people to take benzos, but and also ADD meds. There's something about it, they're just weird. I don't get it. Like, I get it. People walk in, hi, I need like 2 milligrams of Ativan. I need a Xanax. I get that. But if you have ADD, which so everybody knows I do, and then of course you are diagnosed with the disorder, I don't get the, monitor like any other. But anyway, so, and even Seroquel is basically it's like, so, for those of you who see my weight loss, I have lost 60 pounds since last August. Part of it is I'm pre-diabetic. No, I thought I had diabetes. The numbers were very high, but when they reran them, that my doc, Renee EPN and his office, to St. John's, my nurse Justin, was like, no, you're not diabetic. The good news, he's like, your numbers are still a little high, but if you bring them down a little, we'll probably stop the hunger and the constant thirst, and so I've got to eat healthier. But he's like, yeah, because they originally thought so. The weight loss is most likely my natural metabolism has kicked in because I stopped taking Seroquel last year, and I stopped taking Caplyta. I went off all my psych meds. Now, was I hitting the pipe post renegade hard, motherfucker? I was smoking. Listen, Amy, I know my drugs. There's a tiny little packet about this big. I pulled it out of my TikTok account. That packet becomes a kilo. How does it become a kilo? It is pharmaceutical grade methamphetamine straight from the mother factory in Mexico. Remember, I'm cartel. I'm married Joaquin. So I know. So that little packet, you have to cut it somehow. Now, I have no idea how you cut it. But remember, I was smoking 5 of those a day. No, I swear to God. Like, on my second husband, on the love I share for all 3 of my relationships, on everybody in my family's life that I love so dearly, I was smoking 5 of those a day. So I did have a little bit of an issue, obviously. But it's under control. Am I sober? Fuck no. Am I drinking or using crystal meth? Crystal meth? No. I don't need it right now. I do have a vacation planned where I plan to smoke up and let the man violate my hole in such a sweet and wonderful way and treat me like a cheap cum rag and I'll feel like a gentleman. But yeah, I just don't need it right now. I've got some things I have to do. But anyway, so back to the suicide. I was so afraid of my life. I was on the phone with my mental health team. I'm like, you know what? Nothing's going to change. Nobody's going to put Bonnie in jail. Nobody's going to stop John Puth. I'm just going to kill myself. And I hung up the phone. And within like 10 minutes, there was, hello, like Claudia and the head of my mental health program, Southern California Area Rehabilitation Program, George Hawley, were at my house, banging on my bedroom door. And I'm like, go away. And they're like, we're going to break the door down, bitch, if you don't come and talk to us. So I came out and they're calm. And so my cuts were very fresh. I had blood on my shirt. I mean, I'd showered in a week. It was kind of like, Claudia's like, thank God I'm congested. But I really didn't have smell, but like I look bad. I mean, I posted a picture on Facebook last night, and you can see the dead look in my eye. And then I posted recent pictures, and I posted pictures of my girls, Heather and Chris, and you can see I love them. Even when we're being silly, I'm like, there's some pictures where like we're being silly, and I was high in some of them. But like I just love my girls. They are. And so my battery's 30%. I just love my girls so much, and their family. And so one thing that's been great, I like to always say, Joaquin rescued me in September of 2002. I moved to LA in June 6th, 2002. So I met him like 3 months later. I turned 22 in August, and so I met Joaquin, my first husband, and we were together for 8 years. And I never knew love. Like I didn't love as a child. I didn't know. I mean, I wasn't a virgin. I'd slept with thousands of men at that point. I'm not lying. My number is exceedingly high. It is what it is. I'm not bragging. I don't care. Why should you? Maybe somebody has a higher number. I don't fucking care. Anyway, so, but he loved me, and I felt that. I was having sex, like the first time we fucked. Even though I was at a bathhouse, I felt that, what it's like to have sex with someone you're in love with. And I've only had that 3 times. No, I've had great sex, but like I've never been in love with the guys. So, Singapore 2004, which we all know is because of Jeremy Joseph and that motherfucking nigga Charles Puth running their fucking mouth, because Gary Reich, Charles Goldman's boyfriend, was traveling with me when I was traveling with Charles Goldman. He had a business trip, Charles Goldman. I just tagged along on vacation. Gary came to make everybody miserable. Gary liked to talk to Jeremy Joseph on the internet because they were secret little spank brothers. Anyway, so they all knew who my Singapore 2004 was, the man I boned in a locker room at a high-end gym. And when I say bone, maybe you don't all understand. I'm a total bottom. I don't fuck. But when you use the term bone or fuck, it means I have sex with. So, I sucked his dick, swallowed. It tastes very good. And then we went into the steam room, and I ate his hairy Hola. And we were like, I think we were at the point where he was going to be like, dude, let's go to my room, and I'm going to rock your world. But Charles Goldman came in and ruined everything. But Charles always knew who my companion. So for 20 years, I had no idea who this man was, and I was in love with him. It's just weird. So because all 3 individuals, I felt that same zazazu, that spark of that's what it's like when you have sex with someone you love. And also, they all have this impish little twinkle, like, bitch, you're a whore, and I'm gonna make you beg, but in a loving way, like if Santa Claus were an S&M practitioner. It's so weird. So yeah. But anyway, so Claudia, they moved me down here to Gardena, and I've been here about a month. I love my room. I love everybody here. And I've said that a lot, but I keep getting moved to like places where I'm more independent. But Claudia's like, I have 2 options. And like, I love how she steered me towards the choices. She's like, one is about 10 miles away, and I'll be living with my girl Chris in the same type of situation where she's at. They're like, they have a curfew. I'm like, nope. Nope. And then you have to share a room. And I'm like, nope. I'm like, I don't mean to be a princess. I don't mean to be a diva. But what if I go out and I'll become on a date, and the guy's like, let's go home and fuck. Oh, I gotta go home. Like, no. And then I was like, she's like, well, you have to, like, she originally told me to have my own bathroom. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But then she was like, you want to have your own bathroom? And I was like, okay, I can share a bathroom. That's not a problem. And so here, there's actually 3 bathrooms downstairs. There's a powder room right off my bedroom, which is cool. This is like a converted garage. And then there's like a little, I think it was the coat closet, but they converted to like a shower room. So there's got like a walk-in shower. It's very nice. And then there's a full bath. And so there are like 3 bedrooms, I believe, down here. There's a woman's bedroom, like kind of like a long hallway off the kitchen, and there's like 2 down here. So it's kind of cool. Like I have it's great. Like everybody keeps their own hours. It's not like a bunch of rules, like, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, do your chore. Like, it's just be fucking respectful. You go in the kitchen, you're responsible for cleaning every day. Like whatever you leave it how you found it. You go in the bathroom, leave it how you found it. Clean your room, keep it up, take your trash out. Like, be a responsible motherfucking adult. And then like after 9, the kitchen is like semi-closed. It's just like, don't make a full meal. Unless you're working and you get home, you want to make yourself something. And then just do it kind of quietly. Because people do work here. It's not everybody is on SSI. Everybody's situation is different. So some people work full time. So like, it's just like, be respectful and considerate. Be a thinking human being around normal human beings. So, I liked the old place I was in. If you look, it was very ghetto, but we never got to fix it up. Like, there's a lot of potential, and until I went to Hate Teshuva, the worst motherfucking decision of my life was to think I had a drug problem and go to Hate motherfucking Teshuva, the Nazi death camp known as Beit Teshuva, run by fucking twat canoes. They'd abused me, talked about behind my back, labeled me, were telling people not to talk to me. It was like being bullied in a cult. So I left. Although I was held there 2 days against my will. This bitch Jill Rosenberg, who's been lifted so many times, she pisses out of her mouth. She's like, I don't think you belong here. Let's let the meds work it. I'm like, bitch, it's not schizophrenia. You don't understand. I'm not like anybody else here. I'm not saying I'm better. I come from a different situation. Like, motherfucker, I've moved billions of dollars in drug money over my marriage. Not lying. I'm gonna tell you, each drop is 500. Each roll is 100. Each roll is a million, and you do 500 a drop. So, $200 million drug money. You lose $1, and you're fucked. So, and people are like, well, what about where does the money go? Let me tell you. It goes to Latin American countries to help compensate for Guanta by the American government. If you don't like it, Charles Puth, why don't you go to Mexico and ask people what the cartel does with the money? Spin, bitch. By the way, you were kicked out of Mexico for being a schizophrenic lunatic. You dumbass nigga. So, that being said, this is one of my epic 30 minutes. I just wanted to do a quick YouTube video. So, my brand that I'm launching, or whatever you want to call it, AmericanHooker. This says drug lord. It's cocaine and caviar. But my brand is AmericanHooker. Now, I was a whore with my second husband. Well, with my first husband. Yeah. So, but I'm not launching an escort agency. I'm not recruiting people to be escorts. Red Lace Shock. That was the most ridiculous thing you ever accused me of in high school. You became my high school principal for 1 year before they put you in prison. How the fuck would I run a teen underage escort ring? As a minor, you dumb nigger. Do you know how fucked up that is? You piece of shit pedophile. Sit on Tom Selleck's dick and spin, nigger. Believe me, I know it's a little offensive language. I live with black people. They're real black people. If I were racist, they'd throw my shit on the lawn and set it on fire, and drop kick my fucking head all the way back to Greensburg, Pennsylvania. This is street talk. Now, that being said, I'm very offensive. I say cunt, I say bitch, I say nigger. I'm basically like a rap song. And the things you have to know street talk. There's a diff. If you walk, when they called Catherine Lewis, who felt like, oh, Miss Kitty, oh my God, she's like, I know I'm talking very fast, and I just remember it's also very loud. If you ever met, it's like watching Glinda crossed with Diana Ross, crossed with Eartha Kitt, and Madam C.J. Walker, and a little bit of Queen Latifah, because you roll them all into one. And this woman walks in a tiara ball gown and a bubble. That's Catherine, and she was just this magic I met after I'd been illegally evicted from China Hickman's home on December 7th. So they moved me on December 8th. So I met Catherine that day. She lived there at the house I was at, and she's just that. She was the first person I ever said I love you to. And people are like, what? I've had 2 husbands. Never said it to them. I always thought if I say I love you, they'll leave. And I divorced Joaquin and I had him back. So, I was leaving for Hate to Shiva in the morning. I handed Catherine a thing of Dubai chocolate that I bought at 7-Eleven. And I kissed her on the cheek and everybody. And I always hug her. Every time I see her, I do this big. I'm like, she's just like the Creole grandmother. It's just and it's just it's like, I don't know. It's like kismet. It's just we have this connection. And I'd never met the woman in my life till December, although she is related to me from my first marriage. But remember, Joaquin and I kept it very discreet, not because his family's homophobic. Danny Trejo's one of the least homophobic people in the world. It's part of my husband's family. My family. I say my family now, instead of just my husband's. Joaquin's mother had been attacked by John Puth. There were murders in his family because of John Puth, April Miller, and this woman named Linda Howard, who was friends with my mother in high school, Lucy Hastings. But then she came out to California, and she spent most of her life in prison here, and then got released and came back to Westmoreland County. But I'd already left, so I've never met Linda Howard. Anyway, so we kind of kept it on the down low. Also, we were doing a lot of illegal activity. But, I've connected with some of them, and I can't wait. I'm really hoping to do a Cinco de Mayo at Ted Watkins Park. Nothing fancy, just us, Mamma Mia. Everything, and just hang out, great weed. Smoke a bubble if you want it. We can get the kush. And tequila, some good Don Julio if you want it. And then just some great guacamole, and just great food, street tacos, whatever. I don't care. And just to pick it back, big blankets and things, hang out at Ted Watkins Park, and just enjoy Cinco de Mayo. I was hoping to have it in Mazatlan, but Jorge the barber, for those of you joining, my barber, his family, he's not able to travel right now. He has some foot problems, and so it's okay. I'm gonna let you know a secret, Grady Sizemore. boned my grandfather in my own house. So, at a porno theater. I'm kind of really kids real good. Bonnie thought it'd be fun. Jeremy Joseph, my psychotic first cousin, to play a little joke on me. So they made a fake profile on Scruff and then started chatting to me. And the picture they sent was really cool. But then they told me that this guy was staying at the suite at the Hyatt in Long Beach. He's like, oh, I have a kid. And he's like, I'm in town visiting relatives. I got my kid. And he's like, they're in another room in the suite. But should you bring what do you call it? A gift card. I was like, and then so I was like, I really wanted to bone this guy, and I was kind of high. So I'm like, you know, it kind of makes sense. Like he said, the child was deaf. So I'm like, well, if they have a deaf child, I'll be honest. The first thing that went through my mind was they're not going to hear me moan. I'll be honest, but I thought, you know, it kind of makes sense. Like if you have a child and they're like in another room, because parents have sex, you know, we all know they have sex with each other. I know it's common. I thought maybe it makes sense. Like instead of like daddy having a friend that just shows up and then leaves randomly, and it seems weird. Like you give the kid a gift card, it's like, oh hi, I'm your dad's friend, and then it seems like less like, oh, is dad having sex with some weirdo? And so yeah, so I get to Long Beach, and then of course there's total fraud. So fuck you, Cornelius Ross, fuck you, you nigger. And so I'm like, you know, I'm horny, and I'm like, I took my motherfucking stash with me because I wouldn't leave it home for Bessie Me Culo. That's what I called Sasha Culo, at my old house. She was the manager. He was still like, if you took a shit in the toilet, she'd fucking take it and try and fling it on the street. It was pretty bad, but she came in. So, anyway, so I was like, I have my stash. So I went to a porno theater in Huntington Park, but I was kind of like a little like upset, and so I was like, you know how to calm myself down. And the one thing about ADD is, where most people smoke the level of methamphetamine, the concentration I smoke, it would probably blow their mind and cause them to like. And I've always said this, I'm not a role model. Do not do what I do, and do not try and keep up. You will die from an overdose. So, I was standing in this little alleyway. I took out my pipe. This huge meth grist cloud went all the way over this wall. That's where my father, El Chapo, had been released that day. It's not in the press yet. So I guess it was like, the whore's nearby. Joaquin's ex-wife is nearby. So, you know, through the grapevine, he found out. And so I went to this porno theater in Huntington Park, so adult, like, book course. So they were all in LA hats. So they were all like, of course, this is mine. I had my Brett Favre outfit on, which I find it. Okay. It's these pants I'm wearing right now. These green pants. And then I call it Brett Favre because I usually pair it with, Green Bay Packers colors. This yellow t-shirt. Which is, Gilda. He came on Amazon, I think. Yeah. So, I usually pair that. So, anyway. But I had a red jockstrap on. So, anyway, so I'm in the booth, and so, like, this guy Alfred that I knew was there, and like, nobody was coming. I'm like, dude, there's a guy in the middle want to fuck me. So, they had to wait. So, Grandpa, Pappy, came in, shoved his dick in my ass, and then he was jerking off my hole. And then he kind of shoved me in the wall. My dick went through, to the other guy in the other booth. There's a girl, and he was sucking. I was like in heaven. And they kind of pulled me off and shoved me up against the wall, and, you know, finished. And so I kind of left. My hat, and like, my hat fell off, and I like, picked it up. And so I was so like elated. Like my day started off awful. It was sucked. I was like humiliated in Long Beach. Ended up great. I'm like, you know what? Great sex serves great food. Across the street was a Tom's Burgers. I had a great burger meal. And then I walked around the city. I got off the wrong bus stop on the way home. I'm like, you know what? Let's just walk around. Like, I wasn't really looking to to get sex. There was one guy that tempted me, not like for sex, but he was a hot guy. I'm a sucker. If you sag your pants and I see your boxers, my dick gets hard. And so there's a guy outside. I sag his pants were a little, an older Latino guy. I'd say 60s, maybe 70s. Low portly. The pants, like, I could see his boxers. My dick was, but you know, I wasn't looking for sex. Remember, I was satiated. Like, I had the best sex. It was top 5 encounter. So the first 3 would be sex with all my partners, Joaquin, Adam, and you know, my guy, and then a porno encounter I had with the Hulk and Black Man, in a porno theater, and then I'll check. So yes, but that was like, and I just walked around for like 3 hours. And I wasn't high. Like, I was just like, the city was just so quiet, but yet very active. And so there's like a beauty and a mystery and a strangeness. And I was just like walking around looking at homes. And I like probably both thought I was fucked up. But like, there was just like a quietness and a stillness and yet a busyness all at the same time. There's a whole other Los Angeles that people don't see. if you open your eyes and look for it. And some of them are late night, remember it was a weekend, so some of them are late night partiers, so it wasn't all like nefarious criminal activity. Some was like, hey, it's Friday. But some, but it's really cool. So then about 3 in the morning, I got on the Vermont bus and went home and, yeah. So, yeah, but yeah. It's just also, but so for those of you who don't know, I call the gang, I don't actually know, I call them Dodger Blue. The LA Hacks. They are special to Latino gangs. Not just Latino, to the gang system. Yes, I know. I am proof if you grow up a shy, thin, pimply little kid that nobody speaks to in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania, or anywhere else, that you're a shy, pimply, thin little kid that's bookish, wears turtlenecks and sweaters and dress pants to school. You can grow up to be a motherfucking G. Marry the Mexican cartel and bone every goddamn gang head in the world, which I have. And several. Could be a narcotics trap. That's not there. But, so anyway, my hat was a gift. It's Fernando's. It was a relative that was murdered. For those of you in the LA area, I encourage you to visit the Museum of Death. There are two specific places. Look at Teresa Heinz's father, SS Officer Tierstein, on what he did in Baden-Baden. There's an exhibit there. There's also a picture of Fernando, his murderer, Christy Kreitzer, or Lady Bielecki, or John Puth. He's the one that murdered him. There's a picture of Fernando, Christy Kreitzer, who is related to Anthony Blinken, his mom. Remember, he was given up when she went to prison and he was adopted. He doesn't talk about it, but Charles Goldman knows the whole story because he went to live in a small town where Charles Goldman lived. Anyway, so Kreitzer, Christy Kreitzer, anyway, Christy, she is holding Fernando's penis, and her tits are pointed in opposite directions, and she's just, do you remember The Exorcist, like that Damien look in The Exorcist, not The Exorcist, The Omen, that psychotic demon look? It's that look. And so that picture, when I saw it, I burst into tears. Because Fernando is family. And I was like, this is my husband, this is my family, this is, and it just hit me so bad. So this is his hat. Joaquin, my husband, was supposed to give it to me. We met at the bathhouse, like I said. So then we were going to have our first real date. Like clothes, and like talk, and like date. And he was going to give me the hat. And he got arrested by Grady Sizemore. From then LAPD. They've been playing like Shuffle Grady around. He was an FBI, blah, blah, blah. He's a schizophrenic lunatic who shot a Black Panther named Fred Thompson. For those of you who don't know who Fred Thompson is, you might be aware of his daughter, Marlo Thompson, who was on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. You can Google it. The book, I took an African-American history class at Glendale Community College, taught by a white woman named Elizabeth Kronbeck, and she was very upfront. And I agree with this, as a white person myself. You can teach African-American history and still be white. You can teach the facts. What you don't have is the personal narrative and experience. But I can tell you that the facts are, this is a plush teddy bear. The bear is brown. So that's a fact. Those are two factual things. So you can talk about Frank and say that Grady hid in a closet in Chicago in 1960, was beaten off while he made love to his wife. The wife left his widow for some reason. I don't know why. So Frank went to, I think his name is actually Fred, but I call him Frank all the time. Went to sleep, face down, like on the stomach. I guess he was protesting for African Americans and equality and all that stuff. And white supremacists like that nigga ass faggot Grady didn't like it. And so Grady shot and killed him. And made him look like Swiss cheese. And he was an FBI agent at the time. And he blamed all on the Black Panthers. But the thing is, the guy was asleep. So, I don't know how scary a man asleep is. But, so Grady went to Case Western Psychiatric Hospital under Nixon. He was released under Carter. And subsequently has had either prison sentences. He was arrested in Atlanta when I was living there for civil rights violations. The community organizers really worked to get him out. Half the Atlanta police force was arrested. They're now the LAPD. So, this bitch has bounced around. I lived, like I said, I lived in Greensburg, Pennsylvania for birth to 18, August 18th to 1980 to 18. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia for 3 years. And I say I ran with gangbangers and billionaires because I got introduced to this guy named Patrick Brown, who's a wealthy man. Actually, his son Daniel took my virginity, and then I started dating Patrick about 3 weeks later. I know. And then I'd run around Piedmont Park with all the heroin dealers, and I worked at the Gap, and a lot of my coworkers were Black. And so, because, Atlanta's predominantly 60 to 70% African-American, I believe. And so they were like, cool. Like not all the time, like not every Saturday, but sometimes like, you know, hey, like that, and I didn't like sometimes it'd be like they were working in the music industry to themselves, and they'd be like, oh, like I'm performing, or like, oh, like, you know, like they wrote a song that somebody's like performing, and they'd come to the nightclubs, and so I'd go to these downtown nightclubs, and it was just like you would see in that like the 3 mile, 8 mile nightclubs, and they're like 3 metal detectors, but they always thought like I was Casper, the friendly ghost from Western County, because I'm like the only white person there, and like you remember there's the back row with the bodyguard with the piece. And you're not supposed to go back there and be like, la, la, la. I just wandered back, and like the bodyguard would be like shocked, because I would just act like he wasn't there. And he'd be like, holy shit. Like they never stop people. They're just like, I'm not afraid of you. And I remember one time, this guy, he actually said this, and I don't remember who it was. And I wouldn't say anyway, but he's like, you're not afraid of me. And I'm like, why? And he's like, I'm a criminal. And I'm like, and in the back of my mind, I joke. I was like, you're a criminal? A black criminal? Like, I just thought it was really dark in this nightclub. Like, that was a joke in my mind. I didn't say that. I was just like, look at him. And I really didn't, I don't think I even responded. But like, he's like, I'm a criminal. And I don't think I said anything. I just don't think it mattered. Because like, the way I look at it, yes, they were. But did I marry into I'm a criminal myself now. I'm a motherfucking criminal. You know, I've moved drug money. I've been involved in things that, whatever. I played the fifth Yana. But, you know, I kind of look at it now, being older and rash, like they were people institutionally that were denied traditional routes to better themselves. So the rent has to be paid. I listen to some of Tupac's music, which I never listened to rap as a child. I just didn't. I was more of like a Madonna, Cher, Britney type of guy. I've kind of gotten into a lot of rap recently. Just because. And so listen to some of the Tupac, like how can you go legit? How can you make, and so it's like, you know, like, I understand, like, they didn't get to go to Wharton Business School. Mike Sievert, CEO, mother, sit on it, T-Mobile, giving Grady information. And here's the thing, Amy, if I were schizophrenic, how did you get the numbers from my phone records? When the phone's motherfucker in my name, nigger, the bill should have, that was electronic to my motherfucking name. But how were you able to stalk and text people that were calling me? Alexander, the Colombian, you robbed him and broke his arm when he's on his way to meet me. And we weren't even going to hook up. We'd been chatting on Scruff. Great ass. But he was a bottom. But he sent me his ass pic. He just likes to show his ass off. And I get it. I do too. I've had a peach like that. You know, whatever. So mine's disappeared. I've lost, like I said, I've lost 60 pounds, for various reasons. A lot of it's stress. A lot of it's just my natural metabolism has returned, and I've always been naturally thin. Plus some of the, losses, you know, pre-diabetic. But, so I used to have a great peach. Like a little, not like in a Belle Pierre La peach, you know, like God's perfect peach, but a good little peach, like a little bread basket. Now, Alexander has one too. He's Colombian. He's adopted. And so we were just gonna get the Getty. I just like have a good day, like look at the art, just hang out, talk, like in person. And so he was robbed on his way there. And I didn't call him obsessively, Rachel Nosen. I was like, dude, you were supposed to meet me. I just texted you. You're on your way. Like, you wonder. So I was like, you know what, Alexander, maybe you had second thoughts. Like, I'm not trying to stalk you, whatever. Just text me back and say, hey, dude, I'm not interested. I don't know you're okay. And we moved on. But the thing is, Rachel, when I checked his Scruff profile, you put your little face on with your pink little streak in your hair. Sit on it, nigger. So, yeah. This has been an hour almost video. So, I'm going to put a link. So I'll have to do another YouTube video probably just to introduce this. Welcome to my fucked up crazy world. Me llamo me, the American Hooker. Booyah, baby.